Evening all, Louise here. It's Friday. Yay! Right then, first things first, thank you to the new subscribers, double, triple and quadruple thanks to all of your continued support for those die-hard subscribers that have been with me since the very beginning, and actually more so since this channel was monetized. You know why. Thank you to the people who have sent super stickers. It makes a huge amount of difference to the total, and I cannot thank you enough. Right, if you want to be entered into the draw for the Light Seers Tarot deck by Chris Ann, all you need to do is to be subscribed to the channel and enter in the comments our name for this little guy or girl. This is a crocheted seahorse that I made, which I will raffle off here where I live, and the proceeds will go to Bluebellwood Children's Hospice, along with all the proceeds of my videos. I've had emails galore and one or two comments asking me for the pattern for the seahorse. Now, I can't give it to you because it comes from a book, so it will be copyrighted. So the pattern book is called Amigurumi Treasures by a young, very talented designer called Erina Lee. ERINNALLE, Erina Lee. I think there are 3 books in the series. If you go on to Amazon and click on the Amigurumi Treasures 1, 2 and 3, and if you go and look at below after the description, there are photographs of the toys that are in each of the books, so you can choose which. You'll be able to find which one it is. I can't remember what number it is, and I haven't dug it out. Another thing to say is that this particular seahorse, if you do it with the yarn you're supposed to do it with, it's only about 4 inches tall. That particular seahorse is done with double knitting wool on a larger hook, but don't do it on a hook the size that's recommended on the yarn. You need to be at least 1 millimeter below that. But you need to check your tension because each stitch has to be so close that you can't see the stuffing. Right, that's not tarot, is it? So let's get into the tarot. This reading was requested quite a few weeks ago, and I lost it. And luckily, the lady who requested it saw that I'd put out a bit of an appeal for people who had requested and not yet had the reading done. So this reading is for Tracey Bradbury, who has asked for a reading on the Wellbeing and Schools Bill. Now, you might not think that this is going to affect you at all. It probably won't affect you directly. It may affect your children and it may affect your grandchildren. And it might affect you in some ways. The proposals are to, what they will do is they're going to reverse all the work they did when they created the academies. That's one thing. There's loads of things in this bill. And having been a teacher for many years, I was a history teacher plus other subjects for many years. I left teaching before every single school I'd ever worked in became academized, because I didn't agree with it. But over the years, academies have had this sort of flexibility of what they taught in the curriculum. And they've been able to sort of use unqualified teachers, but with good talent and skills with kids and with specific subjects. This bill is going to quash all of that. So the flexibility of academies is just going to be flattened. There'll be just a flatlined curriculum. Schools won't be able to offer unusual things outside of the curriculum, like, I don't know, Latin or Russian or something like that. They're just going to have a straightforward curriculum. So schools won't be able to tailor education to fit the needs of the kids or the interests of the kids anymore. The VAT on private schools, well, there's already a fallout from that, because many kids that were in private schools whose parents sort of scrimped and saved just to get them in there can no longer afford it. And I know there are schools, especially around London, that just haven't got the capacity to take these extra children. So some of these children don't even have a school to go to. And those who do go to going to our school system rather than the private schools, they're finding that the curriculum is completely different, because it's, like I say, it's tailored to fit the students. The pay and statutory conditions will change. All teachers will have to have qualified teacher status, which is going to be at the detriment not only to the school but to the kids. I do know that before I left any of the schools that I worked in, we had ex-army people, we had ex-police officers, we had ex-firemen and firewomen that all got specific skills, but they into PE, maths and all that kind of thing, and had a specific skill set, particularly with the behaviour aspect of children, which is, there was an issue with behaviour way before I left. I know it's far worse, because I still maintain contact with some of the people that I worked alongside. I think what was worrying Tracey more than anything is the clause around homeschooling. Now, there's an issue with this, particularly if you have children with complex needs, and so or even not, in a way, because those homeschooled children will have to stick to the same curriculum as as normal schools. I think they're going to be looking at the qualifications of parents and the ability of parents to deliver that curriculum, and they're going to be appointing council bodies to check homeschooled children, to look for their overall attendance, as in hours per day, etc. And if they see fit, they will be able to make an order to find the parent, a parenting order to find the parent, and then remove the children from homeschooling and place them into either primary or secondary education schools. So if you are the parent or the grandparent of children with special education needs that are being schooled at home, that's the worry, I think, that Big Brother's going to be breathing down your neck, and at the drop of a hat, can some little Jobsworth can come along, whip your kids from under you, and take them to a council run, if you like, school, which more than often would not be in your child's best interest. So we'll have a look and see where the land lies with that. Now, the school secretary, the education secretary, is not qualified to be in her position. She's never been a teacher. She's not old enough, she's not old enough to have even had enough experience in anything education-wise to be able to make these kind of judgments. I do know that she's refused to go to the Michaela School in London, which is an inner city school with children from, deprived, etc. backgrounds, because it's one of the top performing, in fact, it's the top performing school for the last 3 years running. And these secondary age kids are getting into places like Eton. It's a very tightly run ship. I know that Catherine Burble-Singh, the head teacher, uses unqualified, as in, doesn't mean they haven't got the knowledge of the subject that they're teaching. They do. They just don't have that PGCE, that year after the degree that doesn't teach you how to teach kids. Actually, it doesn't teach you how to teach children. It's actually a whole waste of time, because if you know your subjects and you're good with kids, you can teach. But she's going to be requiring this PGCE in order to even set foot inside a classroom. I think there's going to be cutbacks with teaching assistants and all that kind of thing. So she's clearly, when Catherine Birbal-Singh asked her what qualifications she had, she said, well, I don't need qualifications because I've been to school. So pathetic. Anyway, let's have a little look, see what these cards are going to say. Now, these are oracle cards, and a few people have asked me what they're called. They are the Devas of Creation Oracle Cards by Cilla Conway. This is the book. And I'm just starting off with these. I think oracle cards are more or less a bit of a filler. They're not really originally anything to do with tarot. But I like to use, I've only started using them recently. By recently, I mean in the last sort of 5 or 6 years. I find them very interesting, but they're not necessary to have. But I do like to pull one either before a reading or after a reading, just to sort of either give me a starting point or to tie the whole thing together. Right, we've got number 34. That looks like I don't know why, but it looks like the devil card to me. I don't think it is. There is no devil card in this, by the way. This is splitting. All right. One thing to say about these cards is the blurb in these cards. She's thought very carefully about quantum mechanics when she writes the blurb for these cards. So I find them really, really fabulous. Right. Let's go. Hard it may be, but when this Deva appears, we must heed its call to look honestly at the warring dynamics in our lives. We are often aware of these on a subliminal level, but it is only when external events, accidents, difficulties, quarrels, job losses, illness, etc., brings us up short, do we ask what is really going on. It is likely to be some fundamental issue, a relationship that needs renegotiating or ending, some duplicity or deceit we've been trying to ignore, choices we've been delaying, or the need to make some vitally important decision. Sometimes it is the inability to make any decisions at all, leading to utter stalemate. When it appears, this Deva should be viewed as a warning to beware of dangerous fissures in our lives. We may project those issues onto people and circumstances around us, or realize that they are within us. Either way, we need to process and integrate them. So basically, there's an issue going on with this Wellbeing and Schools bill. It's causing a lot of anguish and upset, and we just need to sort of take a step back and probably not place your attention on it far too readily, because the more wherever you place your attention is where you place your energy, and if you place your energy on a specific thing, you're manifesting it. So if you're worried, really worried about a specific thing in your life, the more that you sit and give it like house room in your head, you're enlarging the possibility of manifesting the thing you don't want into your life. So the best thing to do really would be to try and deflect your attention onto the things that you do want, and sort of catch your incoming calls, catch your thoughts as they come in, and ask yourself, right, I've thought about this far too long. I'm going to force myself to think about something I do want. So let's have a look. Are they upside down? Yeah, they are. Welfare, Wellbeing and Schools bill. The Wellbeing and Schools bill. Where are we with that, and where's it going? 2 questions. Where are we with it, and where is it heading? I'm feeling I'm feeling very strongly stubborn, like an energy that won't move. So I don't know whether this is coming from the education secretary and or the actual Labour government, or whether that's coming from the energy of others. I'm feeling like a very, very stubborn streak here. Like there's no budging this person or this group of people in the way that they in the direction that they want to travel. It feels like a very, very stuck energy. So where are you, Spirit, tonight? You keep giving me feeling, but no, come on, talk to me. Okay. Right, so where are we? Is this question of justice. Justice is the Libra card. Libra on its own card. It's air. It's a decision, often a legal issue. I'm wondering if there's some legal challenge to this Wellbeing and Schools bill. I'm wondering if there's going to be a legal challenge if there isn't one already. Now, when the justice bill, when the justice card appears in the upright, it means that whatever the outcome, it will be a fair one. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the answer you want, but it's going to be fair. So, or the decision on this particular issue. It does feel like there's a court case coming up, or there's going to be some opposition to this in court for some reason. I'm sure you'll let me know if there's someone making a challenge to it. I have not heard of that, but I don't know very much about the actual bill apart from what I've heard from Catherine Verbal Singh. Really, I did have a quick look at the Wellbeing in Schools bill itself, an overview of it, and that's where I've got that. So Catherine Verbal Singh and the overview of the bill itself. So where that's gone from there, because I wrote these notes, I wrote the notes when I did that, when it was requested, and I put them in the book, and then obviously, and not in the book, I put them in an envelope with other requests that went missing, found them again. So I don't know if anything has happened since because I haven't followed anything. And then we've got the Nine of Pentacles. So this is what I usually call the single lady card. So we've got this independent person being depicted on this card. This is an independent person with their own means, quite wealthy and well-to-do as a person. So if we've got the Justice and the Nine of Pentacles, we've got actually things are fair, saying things are fair, and it will be right. I'm wondering if I'm wondering if some of the independent schools, independent wealth, are going to challenge this bill. I'm wondering if that's the case. Right. I'm going to get another couple out before I start shooting my mouth off anymore. So, right. So what's next with that? We have the Eight of Cups, and we have the Two of Cups. This feels like a challenge in court by an entity or whatever, possibly an independent school, possibly an amalgamation of private schools, because they've got independent wealth, independent from the state. I'm wondering if they're going to have some sort of legal challenge of asking for fairness, for a fair hearing. And then we've got the Eight of Cups. Walking away from something that you love into another type of partnership. So the Two of Cups is about, depending what other cards are around it, the Two of Cups is usually on its own a choice or a partnership. Twos are usually about choice. And this Eight is walking away from 8 cups. So there's 8 cups there, and this person's walking away from all these 8 things that they love. It doesn't have to be 8, but it's showing 8 on the card. So then that leads to someone or a group of businesses or whatever walking away from what they love into some other form of partnership. So talk to me about the Justice and Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Moon. So it feels like, well, I don't feel like, I'm hearing it. Thank you for joining us, Spirit. This Moon card is usually, the Moon card is usually a card, for an advice it would be, say, pay attention to your dreams and your daydreams and your imaginings. But it's crossing these 2 cards. So there's something lurking in the shadows with this. I would say that this probably hasn't arisen yet, or we don't know about it yet. It's still very much hidden. But I'm wondering if there is some legal challenge by the independent schools that's not public knowledge yet. I mean, if you know whether there's any ongoing, that's, it won't surprise me if somebody puts in the comments, oh, it's common knowledge, they're all at it, taking the government to court, but it doesn't feel like it is. It feels like, with the Moon card being here, that there's something veiled in secrecy. And because it's on top of these 2 cards, it's the challenge, the keeping secret. And then with the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups, we've got the Knight of Swords. But when we lay them down, I don't know if you can see them, when we lay them down, we have to look at where the cards are, where the people in the cards, where they are looking. We've got this Knight of Swords charging towards the Moon. But Swords is also about knee-jerk reactions. It's about decisive movement. It's also jumping the gun. It can also be swift legal challenge. So I think what we're looking at here is this independent schools are bringing in this swift legal challenge. But they seem to be walking away from the format that they exist in right now. This legal challenge is going to force them to walk away from the challenge, walk away from the format that these schools exist in now. And they're walking away towards a different, they're making a choice and walking away towards a different type of partnership. So I don't know what that means. That might become apparent in the weeks ahead. I don't know. And then we've got the Eight of Cups and the Two of Cups, Eight of Wands. So it feels like there's some help from abroad. So it might be the help from abroad that spurs them to sort of walk away from the system as it exists into a different kind of system. This is travel from abroad. It might be traveling abroad. People with kids in independent schools might be sending the kids abroad. I don't know, but it feels like help from abroad. And this is also quick moving. So we've got two very quick moving cards here. We've got the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Wands. So we've got the knee-jerk reaction, challenge type thing, leading to a very swift movement of events. So it could be something that feels stagnant with this moon for now. We don't know anything about it, or we know very little about where it's going. So all of a sudden, it changes on a dime. So we have no knowledge of this legal challenge. All of a sudden, it's shouting from the rooftops, and this could be media attention as well. Huge media attention, as well as help from abroad. I'm hearing help from abroad. There's help from abroad. Can't tell you where abroad, but it's help from abroad. And I'm hearing Saudi Arabia. So what's Saudi Arabia got to do with it? I used to teach English to Saudi kids online during the pandemic. And they have excellently educated kids. So maybe their Saudis might want to come and save our institutions. You know, the sort of institutions that are sort of famous around the world. You know, your Eatons and your Harrows and your other private schools. And then with the moon and the Knight of Swords, we've got a calming down. We've got this erratic, shouting it from the rooftops, swift challenge to this knight. So once this furore is all over, what's going on behind the surface becomes clear and open out into the open. And this knight has shouted it all from a rooftop. It becomes quite calm and collected and determined, well planned, well scrutinized, all paperwork in order, comes to calm the situation down. And from there, the next steps will be one foot in front of the other, very, very slowly, catchy monkey type of scenario here. And then we have the Magician. So with this card, we've got the Knight of Swords is still a very erratic knight. He hasn't learned the art of, he hasn't mastered the art of his sword. The Eight of Wands is still an 8. There still isn't mastery in the 8. But the Magician has mastered all suits, the cups, the wands, the swords, and the, what's the other one? Pentacles. So there seems to be some mastery in this action. Some when the student is ready, the master appears type of thing. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. It feels like some this feels like some sort of going back to traditional education within the private school sector. I'm not talking about public school here. State-run schools, I mean. It appears that there's some mastery here. I want a clarifier for that one, please. So what's this mastery all about? We have the Page of Cups. This is an apology. Right, why would we have an apology? Why an apology? And we've got seeing things from a different perspective, the Hanged Man, in suspense. One more for that. One more for that. The Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is an intuitive, motherly, loving type of figure. I'm missing something here. I'm missing something here. I'm really missing something. This is a lesson being taught by the Queen. There's a lesson being taught here. What's the lesson? What's the lesson, please? The lesson is a Ten of Swords. Tens are about endings, but they signal new beginnings. And even though there are 10 swords in the back of the person depicted on this card, this is a betrayal. However, there's yellow. This is the dark sky, but there's a new sky coming over the horizon. It's signaling a new beginning. It feels like a betrayal of the system as it is now. Betrayal. There's a lesson in betrayal. There's a lesson in betrayal. What do we mean by that? Lesson in art. Now we've got the Queen of Wands. Right, there's a lesson in betrayal because the Queen of Wands is here to tell you you need to use your intuition. You need to use your willpower. The Queen is solar plexus. It's will. It's your will. It's sacral. It's creativity. This is about using your willpower and your own creativity to change things. This is going to take a community or several communities to change things. Because it's feeling like a betrayal. However, we have to look at the bright side here. It's not necessarily a betrayal because it feels like a betrayal, but we've got the Queen of Wands. The black cat's there. Intuition. Use your intuition. The staff. Use your will. The sun is fire. It's fiery. Use your ability, your willpower, your will, your creativity. If you want to change things, you can. If you want to change things, you can. But it takes communities to do that. It takes communities to change the schools, because if you just let your kids go off to school and you don't get involved in what they're learning and you don't really know what's happening behind those school doors, how can you change anything? If when parents are protesting outside schools, the schools quickly back down. If parents start to all sing from the same hymn sheet, can change things, because the schools will change things, because they'll have to appeal to the government to allow them to do that. But there's an apology coming here, and there is going to be some sort of change in a way, because they're going to have to think differently. There's an apology coming somewhere along the line. This is about a foreign country that has mastery, and I'm thinking it would be a foreign country that has very, very well educated children who are going to come to the rescue and create some sort of partnership. And most definitely is going to be some sort of legal challenge. So what about homeschooled kids? Let me get another deck. I'll have a light seers. What about homeschooled kids then? Particularly kids with complex needs. What about kids who are being homeschooled? I can't see the government or councils pushing to get homeschooled kids, whether they've got complex needs or not, back into schools, because there aren't enough places to begin with. That council would then be responsible for educating a child, and if they haven't got places for that child, then they can't take responsibility. So I can't see that working. I don't think a lot of it's going to work. I think it's going to get turned around. There's going to be a legal challenge. Right. Moving forward, the chariot. We've got moving forward. So for homeschooled kids, particularly those with complex or special educational needs, we've got the chariot. You are the parent. You are the driving force in your child's education. Stand strong. Do not be afraid. Learn to stand up for yourself. Drive forward. Be determined. I can't see there being a challenge. And then we've got the Knight of Wands. So we've got be creative in your standing up for yourself. Be guided by your intuition. Be guided by your gut feeling. This is not a fight for you. This is about how you present yourself and how you represent your children in their education. I can't see, they're not coming for you. They're not coming for you. They can't come for you because they can't accommodate. And then we have the King of Cups and the Page of Swords. This King of Cups is calm, emotionally calm, a loving family man. Usually if it's a person, it would be a family man who's emotionally intelligent. He's got a singing bowl in his hand. There's a starfish there and a fish and a sailing boat. The waters are calm, emotionally calm. Keep calm and carry on. Keep calm. Wherever you place your attention is where you place your energy. And then we've got the Page of Swords. This is a studious person walking a tightrope with fragile light bulbs above her head, reading a book. Let all the shit that's going off around you above your head, like the light bulbs, the shattering glass and all that kind of thing, let it be above your head and carry on educating your children. Yes, you're going to be walking through uncharted waters. Uncharted waters. Keep emotionally calm. Place your attention in the here and now, in the fun of educating your own children the way that you want to, in your own way as a parent, creatively, having fun, and drive forward, move forward, always one foot in front of the other. Be determined. because whatever happens in this Wellbeing and Schools bill, yes, education will change. Give it a few years. It's not going to be helpful for the kids who are in school right now, but give it a few years and they'll realise that they've not done the kids any good service whatsoever. In the meantime, if you are a parent of children who are in primary and secondary education or homeschooled, make sure that your kids are engaged. If they're not engaged at home, at school, that they are engaged at home. Take active interest in your children and your grandchildren's education. Know what they are learning. Know what they are doing. Have active participation, and your kids won't fail. We have to see whatever happens, it might not be the way we want it. It might not work out the way we want it. But Justice, wherever she is, Lady Justice, is here to tell you that this requires your participation. And if you put in your own participation, put your best foot forward and determined to give your kids the best start that you possibly can, then whatever the outcome, whatever the government decides to do for your kids, your grandkids, it will be fair. And then your kids will have had the best start. It's just a shame that there are a lot of kids out there whose parents take zero interest in what kids are learning at school, who have no interest in education at all and don't see the value of it. Now, the curriculum, the Labour curriculum, who knows what shite they're going to be teaching the kids. You be there to teach your kids that there's two sides to a story, so that no matter what they taught in school, the kids have got a good perspective on everything they learn. Here endeth the lesson. Amen. Right, I'm off and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ra!